In the world of football, greatness often runs in the family. You just have to look at the Charltons, the Turams, the De Boers. Now come and meet the ESPOSITO brothers, Salvatore, Sebastiano and Francesco. Going from kicking the ball around on the streets of Italy to rising through the ranks of Inter Milan, their talent and determination is sure to propel them up to the great heights of European football. So come join me on this journey of unity, passion and brotherhood in a beautiful game and see how the ESPOSITO brothers conquer Europe. Welcome to a brand new rebuild of Atalanta, but with a twist. So going straight into this, yes, I'm rebuilding Atalanta. I am doing a 5-year rebuild as the manager, but as this is going to be a 2-part saga about the ESPOSITO brothers, obviously as it says in the title, as I say, first 5 years are going to be me managing it, and then I'm going to resign at the end of those 5 years, and I'm going to simulate another 5 years into the future to see how the ESPOSITO brothers do without me. Now, I'm going to zip through season number 1 very quickly because I started on the original database. All the transfers and everything have been done, which means that all the ESPOSITO brothers are basically moved on, either been sold, which I believe Salvatore, he's at Spezia now, and the other 2 brothers, they're out on loan from Inter Milan's youth academy. So I'm going to quickly go over what's been happening with transfer wise here, which hasn't been a lot. I didn't bring in any players of my own besides these 2 down the bottom. Amir Richardson, young Moroccan defensive midfielder. Felt like we need a little bit more creativity in the side. And also Rolando Mandragora, who overall is just a great all-round player. So again, a little bit of creativity from Fiorentina coming into the side, and ended up spending, what's that, about 22 million all in all. Sales wise, if I have a look at this, I haven't sold anybody. Besides, oh sorry, no, that's all right. Yes, I have. Martin de Roon went to Newcastle. He's gone. And the biggest one I'd say is Coop Miners. He's gone to Saudi Arabia. I couldn't stop it, so it is what it is, I suppose. Tactically wise, this is what I'm rocking. I've gone a little bit more defensive in the gegenpress, but the fact that I have 2 really good strikers, or 3 really good strikers actually at the club, I wanted to be able to use at least 2 of them, so that's what I've gone for. So squad wise, in fact, actually if I go to pick without restriction on the best 11, this is what it's looking like at the moment. Quite happy with that. Very talented left back in Ruggieri, or Ruggieri, however you pronounce it, I don't know. Zappa Costa being the other one, and obviously the main wonder kid on the game, or one of the main wonder kids, Giorgio Scalvini at centre back. Absolutely outstanding player. And yeah, the other great goalkeeper on this game, Carnesecchi. He's on the bench. Muso's ahead of him at the moment, so I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with that through the rebuild. But as I say, this is going to be a short one for season 1. So I'm going to simulate the season because schedule-wise, I'm already up to date. So I've had 1 draw and 1 win. Muriel done really well, so it's all good. So I'll see you in a few seconds once this season's done. And there we have it. Nice 3rd place finish, although being 23 points off the top behind AC Milan, who absolutely stormed it this season, is a little bit ridiculous. But competitions wise, Europa League knocked out by Celtic, and knocked out in the semi-final of the Italian Cup by Inter. Okay. Squad wise, we'll have a look at the goals. Muriel, Top and Scamacca, so both hitting over 20. 15 goals from De Ketelari, who is on loan, but he has in his contract £20 million optional future fee. I don't think I'm going to do that, to be fair. As well as Emil Holm, who was a 7.5 one, but I will enact that one because financially wise, I only got 24 million in the transfer budget, which is a bit annoying. And the fact that this is supposed to be the Esposito saga, I'm going to have to go into the new transfer window and sign all 3 players, so that's pretty much going to take up my entire transfer budget, annoyingly. But it will happen, and that is why this is called the Esposito saga. I will get all 3 players in the team and see if I can manage their careers to a successful height, shall we say. So, gonna speed on to Season 2, and I'll see you when that's done. Here we are for Season 2. So, looking at the transfers, as promised, there's the Esposito brothers, Salvatore, Francesco and Sebastiano, all signed for the grand total of, what's that, 21, less than 25 million, which isn't too bad. And even though I only had 25 million in the budget, I've spent 62 because a couple of other players did go out. Unfortunately, I couldn't keep hold of Matteo Ruggeri, however you pronounce it, because Man United came in with a £60 million offer. Not much I could do about that. And he wanted to leave. Sadly, I wanted to keep him for at least another season, but he wasn't having it. I wanted to give Karnaseki more game time, so Musu has left as well as a couple of other just players that were hanging around the periphery of the squad, and I didn't really see the point in keeping hold of them. And bearing in mind, I don't know if anybody else has done an Atalanta save yet. Their squad is huge. In the the B team, the under 20s and the under 18s, they're stacked out. And it's costing them a lot of money. Because financially wise, we still have some debts here, mortgage loans and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's not good. But along with the other signings coming in, I bought in David Polini, who is actually a new gen, 16-year-old right back, 5-star ability. I was like, yeah, snapping him up on a free transfer, no issues there. I brought in Gaetano Castrovilli, again from Fiorentina, another central midfield option. Emil Holm, I made a permanent signing, of course. Valentin Barco, most people will know by now, is a left-back wonder kid on this game, and obviously with Ruggeri going to Man United, I needed a left-back to come in, because I've still got Kolasinac and Mitchell Bakker, but I wanted Kolasinac to play sometimes more as a centre-back, so only having Bakker really to cover there, I wanted Barco in as well. And then probably my biggest signing, and am I going to regret this in the development of Sebastiano, because they kind of play in the same position, but Tommaso Baldanzi, I just couldn't resist for this price of 19 million. He is absolutely outstanding and he will only get better. So that's the transfers in and out. Tactically wise, I've changed it around. I've gone to a 4-1-2-1-2 because I don't have any wingers and I don't intend really on buying any wingers at the moment, and I thought this system is what will suit the Esposito brothers more than anything. This is obviously the selection of the first 11 of the team I've just played, but when I do start the simulation of the season, I will make sure the Esposito brothers are all in the team and see what happens from there. So, I'm going to simulate our second season. I'm going to find out. Hang on, just a minute. Sorry, just checking the schedule. 3 games done and 3 wins. I actually got off to a really good start to the season. So obviously that will put us top of the league. 3 wins from 3. Quite happy with that start, to be fair. Baldanzi has already started really well. Scamacca and Baldanzi both in the... That's ridiculous. So Baldanzi's hit the ground running. No problems whatsoever. But I'm going to simulate the second season, come back in a few seconds, and we'll see what happens. So I'll see you then. And there we have it, guys. Season 2, I'd say, in the league at least, that is pretty successful. We've managed to close the gap pretty well for AC Milan. Only 6 points now, considering it was 23 points last season. 3 strikers, all on 20 goals, which isn't bad at all, and Baldanzi hitting the ground running, which leads me to the Sebastiano Esposito issue. Now, obviously, we have the 3 brothers, Francesco, Sebastiano, and the oldest one, Salvatore. Francesco and Salvatore were obviously put into the side, but because I signed Baldanzi, that kind of left Sebastiano on the sidelines a little bit. Not really going to help his development, but for the sake of the team, I needed to play Baldanzi. We wouldn't have been where we are without him in the side. There's no denying that. If we have a look at the competitions, knockout rounds of the Champions League, the semi-final of the Italian Cup, and also played the Super Cup. Not really too bothered about that, to be fair. Yeah, looking at the squad, great all-round performances. Francesco coming along really, really nicely. Potential abilities up at 5-star, so I can't complain of that at all. It's a great debut season, really. In fact, actually, just looking at it, one goal every 2 games for a starting season. That's pretty good going. I'm happy with that. But as I say, the issue is now I've got Sebastiano, who is a good player in his own right, but he can't dislodge Baldanzi because Baldanzi is just incredible. I mean, look at those stats, his attributes even, sorry. He's phenomenal. Worth nearly 90 million already. I only bought him for 19. So, and then where is Salvatore? Salvatore had a really good season, good solid season. Attributes are progressing nicely. 36 games in the league, 3 goals, 51 games overall. Can't complain at that for a defensive midfielder who's just there to win the ball, really. So, if I have a quick look at the finances, 60 million in the transfer budget, so we might be able to do something, but the Espositos are not going to be sold. Not as yet, anyway. Let's see what happens in the 3rd season. I'll see you guys once I've got it loaded up. And here we are for season 3. And there has been some comings and goings going on. Before I do that, just have a quick look at the schedule. Started off the season with Napoli, Genoa and Fiorentina. 2 wins and a 0-0 draw. That's disappointing. But good wins again. A very good win against Napoli, actually. And a good away win against Genoa as well. So I'm happy with that. But if we have a look at the transfers and see if we did spend any money. Didn't let too many go out. Only Caleb Bacoli, really. Was the only main one. The rest of them were all loans and free transfers. But as you can see, Sebastiano Esposito, I bit the bullet and let him go out on loan for the season. 1, to aid his development, and 2, he's just not dislodging Baldanzi at the moment. And out of the 3 brothers, I hasten to say, especially on this game anyway, he is not as good as Salvatore or Francesco. So, he's gone out on loan for a season, see how he gets on. I'll make a decision what's happening with him later. But I did bring a few players in. So, on the top of it, Lorenzo Pirola from Salernitana, great centre-back. I wanted a younger left-footed centre-back, and I never bought this player, never even heard of him, but really good centre-back. Then defensive midfielder or box-to-box midfielder in Francho. Again, another player I've never heard of, but brought him in from Zaragoza for 12 million, which ain't too bad. Benjamin Kremeshi from Inter Miami. Now, again, another player I've never heard of, but this guy's a wonder kid. Perfectionist personality, wonder kid, great potential ability, and so much room to grow is ridiculous. So as a box-to-box midfielder, spot on. And then I needed another goalkeeper, a more experienced goalkeeper, so I brought in Robin Olsen as well. If I have a look at the tactics, still exactly the same. I've got both the Esposito brothers nailed in for the season. Squad-wise, it's looking alright. I've got a couple of unhappy players, but it is what it is. So I'm going to simulate the 3rd season and see how we got on, because we got, again, the Champions League coming, and got the Italian Cup and also the Italian Super Cup. So let's see how we get on in this 3rd season. So I'll see you guys once it's done. We dropped off again. That's annoying. But AC Milan looks like they were just ripping up the league yet again. I mean, okay, we're qualified in the Champions League spot. That's what the board of directors want from us on this save at the moment. It's basically just to establish ourselves as one of the best of the rest, as they put it, as a Champions League qualifying club. So that's what we're doing. By quite a way over Roma, and just finishing on goal difference above Fiorentina, so not too bad. It looks like a really good season from Kremeshi with 13 assists, Karnaseki with the highest average rating in goal, that's difficult, and strikers Scamacca and Esposito both on 23 goals. Looks like they're doing alright. We'll go to the squad, have a look at the goals. Esposito is injured, but not for too long, thankfully. But 23 goals in 49 games from Francesco, which is only 12 in 33. So he got more in the European competitions, which ain't going to do his reputation any harm, that's for certain. But yeah, I mean, finishing 16, heading 17, penalty taking 16. Great anticipation off the ball. I have actually gone with as an advanced forward, so he just suits it all down to the ground. He's going to be amazing. He really is. We'll have a look at Salvatore, who, again, free kick taking, even for a defensive midfielder. Spot on. Had another really, really good season. With a better average rating, actually. He got 7 assists, 4 goals in 28 league appearances, which means... Did he get an injury? He was out for a lower back stress fracture. 6 weeks, and also a twisted ankle, so he's missed 9 weeks of the season. Which, okay, it happens. So he played a few less games, but he was still there or thereabouts. Okay, that's something to work with. Let's have a look at the financials. The problem is, because we're qualifying for the Champions League season on season, is that players keep on coming to me now wanting new contracts. They want higher wages because more money is supposedly coming in, which our overall balance at 82 million, that's not too bad. And if I remember, on this season the board are now looking at building a new stadium, so that's going to decimate that with only a £21 million budget. So I'm going to have to do a bit of wheeling and dealing for season 4 to see if I can progress the team any further. So if you want to join for season 4, hang around and I'll be back in a few seconds. Welcome back for season 4. So here we are. As you can see, we started the season off pretty well looking at this league table. 3 wins in 3. Also looking at the transfer budget, it has been spent. Our overall balance is still looking pretty good. Schedule wise, like I say, 3 wins, 2-0, 3-0 and 6-0. No goals conceded. I'm happy with that. Very happy with that start. Looking at the tactics, nothing has changed, but you will notice a couple of different players in there. And I'll show you the transfers right now. It's been an interesting one because, as you can see by the date, obviously it's 2026. Now, as most people know, when they are playing this game, this is when the Saudi Arabian contracts start expiring, and I went shopping in Saudi Arabia. So, I went back and got Frank Kessie, America Laporte, and Gabri Veiga for nothing. Frank Kessie, I actually didn't realise, was a former Atalanta player before he went to AC Milan, so I'm bringing him back to the club. Perfect. I also brought in a backup goalkeeper, Luca, here. I'm not going to try and pronounce his second name because I'll butcher it, because Robin Olsen retired. And then I brought in Marmadashvili because I had a bid for Karnaseki, and Karnaseki has turned into an absolute worldie of a goalkeeper. Chelsea came in for a £60 million bid. I was like, okay, he wanted to leave, not a problem. I went and got Marmadashvili, got that over the line. Karnaseki rejected the contract and ended up staying. So now I've got 2 world-class goalkeepers. I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet, to be fair. I've had a couple of players go out. Kolasinac and Francho are both gone. So it's not too bad. Squad-wise, is looking very, very strong now. I'm very happy with the fact that I got Kessie in, especially because he's an absolute baller on this game. Obviously, Esposito's Francesco, again, started off reasonably well this season. Sebastiano was obviously on loan at Cremonense last season. Didn't have the best season. I don't know whether, this being season 4, only 2 seasons left of what I'm going to be managing, I don't know what's going to happen with him, to be fair, because he just doesn't seem to be pushing on, and this consistency issue I think is going to be the main problem for his career. Salvatore and Francesco, I think I've got that nailed, but Sebastiano seems to have a bit of an issue on this save. So I'm going to do season 4, come back in a few seconds, and we're going to see what happens. Fingers crossed we can actually win something this time. I don't know what else I'm supposed to do. I mean, we nailed on the best of the rest now, finishing second in the league, but how are you supposed to stop an AC Milan team and just keep on winning the league every season and absolutely creaming it? It's going to be a bit of a conundrum, this one, to be fair. So I don't know what else I can do. I've got world-class players in the team now. I can't get close to AC Milan. I mean, Francesco has had an absolutely blinding season by the looks of it. 28 league goals in 37 games and 38 in total in 55. Injury-free season. Progressed amazingly well. Now, ignoring the down arrows because it's coming into the end of the season, now worth over 80 million when I bought him in for 15. Potential abilities 4-star, but he's still not been capped by Italy, surprisingly. Which, again, is another thing I've noticed through this as well. It's an issue that I found with Scamacca as well. I don't know who the Italian managers are when they're picking the national teams, but blimey, they don't pick informed strikers. They really don't. It's odd. It's really odd. If I have a look at the rest of the squad before going to the competitions, Mamardashvili is obviously here. He is wanted and transfer listed because Karnaseki kept him out the side. Sorry. But yeah, if we have a look at the goals, Scamacca didn't play too much because, well, did I? Who played ahead of Scamacca then? Or did I? Oh, hang on, I know what I did. I wanted to give Sebastiano a full season up front with his brother to see what would happen. And he scored 3 goals. Got 10 assists. It's not good enough. I don't think he's going to make it. I don't think he's going to cut it at all, annoyingly. With only Francesco getting well into double figures. He got the bulk of the goals. Scamacca got 9, Baldanzi got 9. Cramashi had a good season, 16 assists and 10 goals. Spot on, can't complain of that. A lot of wanteds on here now, so there could be a few comings and goings again for season 5. Financially wise, don't think I've had the transfer budget come through yet. Oh, hang on, no, I have. They've taken the money for the stadium. Not good. Looking at the competitions for the season. Hey! Actually won the Italian Super Cup. Basically the Italian Charity Shield. Knocked out by AC Milan in the semi-final of the Italian Cup again, and round of 16 by Bayern Munich. Okay, I'm happy with that. So I'm going to roll it on for season 5, the final season that I'm going to be managing before I resign, to see if I can win anything else and what happens with the ESPOSITO brothers as well. I'll see you in a few seconds. And we're back for season 5, the final season before I resign from Atalanta, to see if I can get the ESPOSITOs functioning inside. Well, we will see. 2 of them are absolute shoo-in for me, Francesco and Salvatore. They're absolutely in. Sebastiano has got major question marks on his head. I don't know what to do with him yet. I haven't played any of the games yet for the season, so I'm not going to show you the schedule. Besides the fact, first 4 fixtures of the season: Roma, Inter, AC Milan, Juventus. That has to be one of the toughest starts to the seasons I've ever seen on this. Financially wise, I got 42 million in the budget and 134 in the overall balance. There's a reason for that. I know it's not loans. Busy transfer market. So, I sold Frank Kessie back to Saudi Arabia. He wanted to go again. He is a complete and utter gold digger, money grabber on this game. So obviously I can't compete with £750,000 per week. So I did make him pay for it. 70 odd million, so that boosted things up. A couple of other younger players, including one of the most annoying players on the game, Roberto Piccoli, who just never wanted to leave the club for some reason. And I brought in a few other players, and you'll notice a pattern here. I brought in some wingers because I've changed the system. I had a look at AC Milan's tactics, and I wanted to see if I could do fire with fire, give it as good as I got. So I've changed the system a little bit. So Francisco Conceição from Ajax on a free transfer. Thought great pick up that. This guy Hassan Belem is a regen. He wants to play as a striker, but I'm going to try and retrain him as, because he's very good on both feet, I'm going to try and retrain him out on the left hand wing as an inside forward. So, but then I brought in Elias Akamach from Newcastle, who I believe picked up from Villarreal. Yep. Good signing, I think, this. Very talented winger. And the last one I brought in, one of my favourites on the game, Gabriel Rucavina. If you haven't picked this guy up yet, just do it, because his acceleration, agility and pace, he rips people to shreds on this game. Very, very talented winger. So, as I say, with that being said, that's pretty much our starting team at the moment. Francesco up front, Salvatore in the side, Sebastiano on the subs bench. I thought to myself, do I sell him? Do I move him on? No, I'll keep him as a squad player, and then I'll let the game decide, once I simulate the rest of it when I've resigned, what they want to do with him. So I kept him around, gave him a new contract. Did he deserve it? Probably not. But then again, this is meant to be the ESPOSITO saga, the dynasty of the three brothers, to see how they do. So I wanted to keep them together, really. So we'll see what happens. As I say, competitions wise, back for the usual stuff. So obviously we've got Serie A, Champions League, Italian Cup and all that sort of stuff. So I'm going to simulate this 5th and final season with me in charge. Let's see how we do. Well, if it's not a one Milan team, it's the bloody other one. Oh dear me. AC Milan drop off, Inter Milan storm ahead, so I end up finishing 21 points behind them again. On the plus side of things, Valentin Barco, great season in assists. Again, I actually put him in the team for this 5th season because the game was taking him out and playing somebody else, so I can't remember who. So again, for his development, and he's done really well. Francesco again, absolutely spot on. 22 years old now, still no caps for the Italian side, but another great goal scoring season, 24 and 38. I really can't complain at that. Let's have a look at the competitions. That's horrible. Knockout playoff round, semi-finals by AC Milan, and the Italian Super Cup, which we did nothing in. Eesh. Maybe when I resign, maybe the computer will do better. I don't know. Financially wise, before we have a look at the player stats, 50 odd million in the transfer budget. Wage budget has skyrocketed over these 5 years because of the Champions League success, so to speak. So who knows? And we do have that stadium being built now, which is going to be ready, I think, the following season. So if I have a look at not the club vision, the club info. Yeah, we're still at the Gevice Stadium, but the new stadium being built is about 40,000 seater stadium, so that's not too bad facilities wise. Yeah, let's have a look. They go 35,000 seater stadium. Yeah, end of next season. So there we go. Let's have a look at the squad and we'll do a final review of the Esposito brothers. So, Francesco, what more could be said? Just developed into an absolute world-class striker. I don't understand why his ability's like that. He's by far better than that. By far. His brothers, on the other hand, well, Salvatore, again, world-class defensive midfielder, coming into his prime years now, absolutely outstanding. Can't fault him at all. You can see his progression year on year, and solid player. Rarely gets injured. Tight hamstring, food poisoning, tight hamstring. Very consistent midfielder. I would highly recommend anybody, if they're looking to do a rebuild, go and get this player, because you can get him for a decent price as well. Only like 6 million. So he'll definitely do a job for you. The other one that won't and has asked to leave is Sebastiano. He didn't get that much game time this season. Consistency issues, training happiness. His form is poor. He's not consistent. He's very erratic on this game, which is annoying because he's got the talent there. But what can you do? Yeah, it's a disappointing season for me, but overall I think the Esposito brothers have come on alright. Sebastiano's done okay, but the other two have definitely been worth the pickup, and I think over the next 5 years, when you guys hopefully come back for part 2 to see what happens there when I do resign, I think one of these players may just go on to win something pretty big. I'm hoping so anyway, because they deserve it. But that being said, thank you very much for watching this video. Please remember to leave a like on it and leave your comments down below. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this content. Come back for part 2 to see what happens with the rest of the experiment. And thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Ta-ra.